Leaders. Describe a leader who you admire, for example, in sports, business, or politics. You should say who this person is, what this person did, has done, that you admire, how you know this person or know about this person, and explain how this leader's qualities impressed you.
One leader that I admire is Bill Gates. Well, what do I admire about Bill? He's really rich. No, just kidding. But that is one of the reasons that I admire him. I think that if you are going to make money and that is your goal, then he is the best role model. His is a success story that you don't see too often. Of course, I use his software and I know that it is not the greatest, but you know what? It is the first, and that says something to me. I also admire him for not staying in school just to stay in school. Once he saw what he wanted to do, he didn't wait around until graduation, but instead grabbed the opportunity while he could and took off with it. Another thing that I admire about him is that he is not content with what he has accomplished, but is still looking for ways to get his product to the world. Now I know that he has enemies and people that say this and that about him, but so has every other visionary that has stood out from the crowd. I hear now that he is giving a lot of his money to charitable organizations, and this just makes me want to say, bravo to him! He's a modern-day hero.
Being a leader. 1. Would you like to be a leader?
I would like to because I know that being a leader requires something great of people. Being a leader will help to bring out the best in someone, and I want my best qualities to be apparent in my life. I wish to have children someday, and I know that raising children will require the best leadership. Also, my parents expect me to get a good job, and a high position means having many others working under your authority. I believe this world needs more leaders and a higher standard of leadership.
2. Why don't some people want to be leaders?
The answer to this question has become very clear to me recently, as I must deal with it every day. To be a good leader, one must be a good follower, and there are very few people who can and wish to follow. It is very hard to take orders from others when you are excited about your future and when you have many personal dreams, but we have to learn from others to be able to lead them, and that is the hardest part to learn.
3. Why do we need leaders?
We need leaders because without them life would be chaos. I know when I was a child, if my mother did not teach me lessons, I would have caused many terrible problems. Many people are ignorant when they are young, but many are just as ignorant when they are older. We can see when a society is lacking in leadership, how quickly it falls. Being a good leader is a priceless quality.
Leadership qualities. 4. What are the qualities of a leader? Or, what abilities are needed to be a leader?
I would say a leader needs a lot of dedication and passion for what he is doing. He must be able to convey this in his work. He needs patience to handle people. This leader must also understand those he leads, and like I said above, he must understand what it is like to follow. A leader should be a good example of what he is trying to teach and should follow his own advice.
5. Is it possible to be a good speaker in front of others and to be a good leader, but at the same time not be a good person at the personal level?
Yes, of course. Every day I watch a little TV, and sometimes when I have free time, I will watch movies. Every person that I see on TV knows what he is doing and acts his part, but maybe, inside, he is not at all the character I see him as. My boss at work may lead me and my workmates and treat us well, but does he treat his family well? Do I know for sure that he treats people on the street well? No, I do not know.
6. What are some differences between current leaders and leaders of the past?
The leaders of the past are as varied as they are today, but I think before there was more to being a leader. A long time ago, people could not treat each other badly without suffering themselves or being tried by the law. But these days, I often see very bad occurrences between bosses and their workers, or even governments and their people. In many ways, things should be done as they were before.
Training future leaders. 7. How do people become leaders?
By perseverance and willpower, I think. I also believe that a person who wants to be a good leader must be focused but not stressed. He should know what he wants and give his all for it. But he should never stop caring for those around him, because who would want to follow someone who shows no interest in or appreciation of others? I certainly wouldn't.
8. What can parents do to encourage the development of leadership abilities in their children?
Be a good example. Try their best to understand and not order children around. Never spoil them, but reward them for hard work. The parents should never stop learning from their children. A child who feels ignored by his parents will never grow to full maturity.
9. How do you think leaders of the future will be different to current leaders?
I think they will grow less powerful. The more independence people have, the more they see their own potential, and the harder it will be for them to accept their leaders. Each person in China is pushed to succeed, to reach their full potential, and I think it will be very hard for them to live their life following rules and orders. I think many Chinese will realize that they could be anything, and will be discontented with living to serve their leaders.